Class. Today we will try to integrate one more topic within our application that will be about having locations. Now, when we discuss about this Android application framework, you might have understood that we have this GPS receiver, we have this compass facility and other stuff. So take an example. If I want to create an application where I want users location, then what should we do? And why should I need this kind of probably you've seen that into your gallery there are photographs or the videos that you are taking, they're segregated based on their locations. The moment you go and check your photographs in metadata, they specify at which location you have taken. One more thing, we have started with this contact manager application. We are preparing a CRUD. Take an example. I want to prepare a operation. It's a contact manager. So I want to store a contact, and later on that particular person, the contact which I have stored. Take an example. I have stored mobile number of Moinuddin, and now what I wish that whenever Moinuddin is coming in my region, okay, take an example, I am specifying that in the 1 kilometer radius, if Moinuddin is coming, then I should be notified about that. So what I wish that in my contact manager, I will be able to store, I will be able to manipulate my contacts, as well as I want to get notified whenever any of this person who is using this contact manager application, okay, whenever that person is coming into my region, I should be notified. So what I wish that this particular application contact manager should be able to use location. It should be able to use this GPS or some network providers facility to understand, to get the location information for those mobile devices. So when we talk about Android location, it is one of the unique feature that is available by default, because we have this GPS and compass that is available within your Android application framework. So wherever you go, you will be having a freedom to track users location. Now for this purpose, we'll be having this location APIs, which is by default available in your Google Play. But you are supposed to understand few things, that how to use it, and this location API is having some limitations, that in this particular version it is available. And specifically when I say that my application will be able to store data, retrieve data, it is like free of cost. Means you are not supposed to take users permission. SQLite is a library which is available. You take data from the user, you just store it. Whenever you require the data back, you just open it and have it. But situation will be a bit tricky when I say that I want to use internet, or the moment I say that I want to have users location, I have to go for their permissions. I must be having a kind of thing that I should take permissions from the from the users. Previously, when I go and install an application, at the installation time, Android will ask for the permission that this application is using this kind of services. It will go and use your camera, it will go and use your gallery, probably it will read your contacts. But in this particular scenario, when you install an Android application in the newer version of Android, you will be able to install an application. That's it. But the moment you open your application very first time, it will ask one by one each and every permission. This application requires internet. This application will be able to read your contacts. This application will be able to make modifications in your gallery. This application will read your SMS. So what will happen, that you have to set some of the permissions for your Android application. And where do we make those kind of permissions? Previously, when we are going through Android project structure, I have discussed that this manifest folder. Okay, when you prepare a project, Android project, you will be having this resources directory, you will be having Java, you will be having this manifest. So in your Android application, the first folder that you observe, that is manifest, and into that you may observe there is one XML document. Now that XML document, you are supposed to specify that what kind of permissions you want to grant. So now to start with this location services, we have to understand few things. We have to first of all check our Android Studio. You might have gone through this, that we are having this AVD manager. The moment I go to this AVD manager, each and every virtual device that we have prepared, that will be available. In my Android Studio, I have install this Pixel 2 API where I am having Android 9 and the API level is 28. So this API level 28 specifies that which Android version has been installed in my virtual device. So just remember that if you want to, one more thing here. This is Pixel 2 API, that is the name of the virtual device that you provided, and here it will be written like Play Store, and this is the icon. So many of the times when you go and install any of this virtual device, you may have observed that few of the devices having this icon and other devices don't have. It clearly specifies that this icon says that whatever virtual device that you are supposed to install, that virtual device is having Google Play Store installed in them. And if this device icon is not available, then those virtual device will not have Play Store. Now, the devices without Play Store icon are completely useless for us. So the moment you are, starting with this Android location kind of stuff, just make sure that you are having at least one virtual device which is having Google Play Store installed within it. And what you're supposed to do is you just have to make sure that the moment you start with your application, your API level has to be minimum 21 or above, because API level less than 21 will not support our this Android locations. So let us go and start with a project. So I'll go and I'll say start a new project. I'll take a basic activity. I'll say next. Now we will say location, and this is our 6th semester. We specify the location, we specify the language, and here you have to choose. Now, if you observe that previously we have gone for Android 5.0, okay? Now, Android 5.0, that is your Lollipop version, API level is 21, and it says that minimum, this application will support minimum API level 21, and below that, none of the API version will get supported. Right now, I'll go and I will say API level 24. It depends. But just understand that if you are choosing API level 24, then your application will support this many devices only. But what we have discussed, that minimum API level has to be 21. So you can choose any. You can stick to Android 5 and go ahead. Okay, now here our project is being prepared. Okay, so class, this is our Android application that we have prepared so this is our view, this is our controller, and this time you may observe in your controller you have additional things, because hello first segment and you have one next button. So actually, instead of blank activity, I have chosen basic activity. That is the reason that you are having this kind of screen and your controller is filled with some additional buttons. Now go to this project structure, and here in your manifest, you observe that there is this Android manifest.xml. Now this is the file is something that we already discussed previously. If you go and check, this is your application. Do you want to allow backup? True. What will be the icon? So you specify IC launcher. This is the icon that we are talking about. What will be the label of this application? What will be the round icon? Does it support RTL, right to left? Okay, so in some Arabic countries, instead of left to right, there will be right to left. Then what will be the theme for this application? So you actually specify so many things over here. In your activity, you specify that which what will be the activity that you want to launch over here. So many things that you specified here. So in this XML file, in this Android manifest.xml, you can specify a lot of things. Now, what I will go and do is I want to have this location services. First, I will go and check my emulator. So let us go to tools and we will check our AVD manager. Okay, so this is my Pixel 2 and this is the Play Store icon, and my API level is 28. So this is completely fine. Let us go and see. If I say create a new virtual device, we have this Pixel XL. Okay, and here Pixel XL or this 3A, we don't have this Play Store icon. So if I'm installing this Pixel 3A, it will be completely waste of time for me, because the moment this virtual device is available, it will not have Play Store services into that. If Play Store services are not there, then this Google Play API location will not be available to me. So I cannot have it. Now, just take an example. If I'm going for this Pixel 3A, I say next. Now, this is my Pi, and you may observe that I'm having one system image that is available, and this is what? API level 28. So Google Pi, this is the system image which I have already downloaded. So what you're supposed to do is just make sure that you are having one virtual device with Play Store icon, and your minimum API level should be 21 or greater than 21. And I suggest that go for a higher version. So we don't have any issue here. Okay, so this particular stuff is completely fine with us. This is about the same thing that I am talking about. Now we can do one more thing. Then what will happen the moment you have the system images, there is a possibility that your SDK frameworks did not have those additional libraries which are needed. So go to your go to your tools and go to this SDK manager. In your Android SDK, this Android 10, and just click on this show package details. So you may observe that yes, in my Android 9.5, you may observe that Android SDK framework installed. Then sources for Android 28, Android TV, Intel, China version, VR. Definitely, I don't want to prepare any Android VR application. So I'm not installing this particular things. But yes, Google APIs, Intel x86. So all these are additional things I have installed. Take an example, just go to your Android Studio, and if you are not having this particular thing installed, then just click and say okay. So what will happen, your Android Studio will download each and everything dependency which is missing. Now these are the several preferences which you should have. So as of now, in my this Android 9.0, the Pi, the system image which I have downloaded, I am having my Android SDK platform 28. This is API level revision number 6. That doesn't make any sense to me, but yes, API level 28, yes, it is higher than 21. And other libraries, other dependencies I'm having. Okay, so we are done with this. So I will upload this PPT. So every student has to just make sure that your emulator is having a virtual device which is like this with a Play Store icon and API level about 21. Previously, I was not having those Intel and Google Play API libraries available with me. So I have checked them, and the moment I say okay, it will go and it will download all this. So few days back it has downloaded itself, and it was around 3 GB of the size. Now let us go to this URL and understand that what are the different services which are available. Now the moment I go for this Google APIs for Android, it says that there are several Google APIs which are available with this Google Play services, which you can directly go and integrate, and you can start using them. So take an example, there are some APIs like Google Plus. So this is the API which I am supposed to integrate in my Gradle. If I want to use Google account login, if I want to go for Google sign in, if I want to use Google Analytics, if I want Google Cast, if I want to have Google Cloud Messaging, Google Drive, Google Fit, so many things. You may observe that if I want any of the services to be integrated in my application, then I should be having this. So right now I'm talking about Google Location. So Google Location Activity Recognition. So this is something that I'm talking about. Okay, now we'll go back to our project, Android Studio, file, and now I'll go to this project structure. And into project structure, there will be this dependency. And now into your dependency, go to this app, and you may observe that you have several things. Okay, let me stop this and do one thing, class. If you remember, previously we have gone for this basic arithmetic calculator. At that time, I have shown you that if I require some external dependency, then we go to this Gradle, and into Gradle, we are having this build Gradle module app. And here, whatever dependencies that you are having, that will be listed down. So you are supposed to specify that implementation something something something, and you will specify the complete URL, and then you say, oh, here you may observe that Gradle file have been changed, so you are supposed to sync. Okay, so this is the first way that you can go ahead and you can make some changes into this, and you can observe it. Now apart from that, this is the first thing that what I can do is I can go to this Gradle module app, and over here I can make some of the changes, or I do not use this particular file. I'll simply go to my file. I say project structure. Into project structure, here you have dependency. Into your dependency, I'll go to app, and now whatever implementation that you've seen over there, we are having those. I click on this plus, and it says that what I require. In our that basic arithmetic calculator, what we have did is we have gone for a jar file. From that objecthunter.net, we have downloaded expression builder jar file, and that has been included. So either I can have a jar file or I can have a library. I'm going for this library dependency because I'm not having any external jar file. Jar file is what it is, just combination of some of the functions. Later on I can use those functions, but right now I'm talking about a Google API. So I'll place like this, and then I say search. Now this is what com.google.android.gms play services. So from this URL, just observe this URL. This is what developers.google.com Android guide setup. So this is actually Google APIs for Android. So I have went to this this particular site, and I have seen that what are the different Google APIs which are available. And I want to use this Google location API. So I have copied this description, and now it has been entered here. I have entered, and the moment I click search, it says that you want to include play services location, and this is the repository which is available at Google. And you can have like 15, 16, 17, which version you want to include. Definitely, I'll go for the higher one. Click on OK. The moment you say that you have chosen this Google Play services into your project structure, and you click on this OK, your this particular file build.gradle. Now observe implementation com.android.gms, and then play services location 17.0.0 means the highest version of this particular Google location API has been included in your project. The moment you go and modify this build.gradle file, it will say that Gradle file has been modified and you have to sync now. But I'm not making any kind of changes manually. What I'm doing, I'm not writing. Actually, what I have to do is I have to enter this particular line implementation. I have to code it. But instead of that, what we do is we go to this file, we go to project structure, and into project structure, we specify that module, dependency, build variants. But I want to have a dependency into my app. We go, we click, we specify library dependency, and then we write down anything. Take an example. In this, if I want to use Google Fit, okay, then what we'll be doing is we will copy this. I specify that URL, and then I say search. So it says that this is the repository provided by Google. It is having 18, 17, 16 different kind of versions. And this is what play services fitness. So Google Fit data, if I want to retrieve that, then this particular dependency will be helpful to me. So if I am having Google Fit devices and I want to interact with them, then this will be a handy thing for me. But I don't require that one, so I will not unnecessarily add anything. This is just for your reference purpose. So now this Gradle script is having all these things which is needed. I hope this particular file is clear. So we will close this one. Now next. So we are supposed to have this location and activity recognition API. So that is available. Now, probably you might you might have the clear idea that why I have talked about this AVD manager and why I had talked about this Play Store icon. Because if I want to use Google Play API, then my virtual device must support this Google Play services installed within that. Okay. Now we are done with this. Okay. So whatever we have did, that is actually available within this presentation for your ready reference. So you can later on observe this particular stuff. And yes, when we go to this build Gradle, this implementation is available. So we are completely fine with that. Now, next thing. We have simply included Google Play API, location and activity recognition. But in order to receive location update that where this particular mobile device is located at in which region, we have to take update from either network provider or we have to take update from the GPS provider. GPS is a kind of a library. Actually, it is a hardware, and corresponding to that, there is one library which is by default available in your Android stack. And this network provider, that is about the cellular network that we are talking about. So you can take users location either from network provider or you can have from this GPS provider. It depends on you. Now, how it depends? It should be like that what kind of permission has been granted to this application by user. Now we have two things. We can access the course location or we can go ahead and we can say access the find location permission. Now, these are the permissions that we have to take from the Android manifest file. Now, understand that if you are using both network provider and the GPS, if your application is trying to access your location using this network as well as through GPS, then you are supposed to request only for access find location, because network and GPS both will be giving you location update. So you will be having a find location of the user, and that's it. And the moment you say access find location, actually when you request for this, by default your application will be having permission to take location update from network provider and from GPS provider. But in case in your manifest file you have just in case if you have simply taken permission for this access course location, then you will be getting location update only from your network provider. Your GPS provider will not give you any sort of information. So now it depends that what you want to do, whether you are going for find location or the course location. So when I say find location, you will be getting this both. Okay. We already discussed this, that this location, if you want to determine, then two things, network or the GPS. When I say network, this permission can be granted either by having this or this. But if I want to use GPS provider, it is compulsory for me to have this access find location permission. Now we'll go and see our this manifest file. So go to your application, go to this manifest, and there will be this Android manifest file. And now here, this is your XML document. So manifest, open and close. This is your root element. And in this root element, you are having this application. Now, apart from this application, in this application tag, you will have everything which is regarding your application, that what is application name, what is application structure, what is the icon, whether this will allow for backup, what will be the theme, what will be the name, and other stuff. Apart from this application, I'll go and I say uses permission, which means I'm actually specifying that this application will be using what. So just observe, use biometric. So if you want to go for thumb, or if you want to go for face recognition and other stuff, so your application will be using that biometric data. Then you have to specify that Android.permission use biometric. Okay. But right now I'll go and I'll say internet and then close it. This application requires internet. Why? Because this network and GPS provider will give you some sort of information. So you require internet to get all those information available. You require the location stuff and you want to recognize the activity which is being performed by the user. So I am saying this application requires internet. Next thing, course location. Next thing, I'll go for both and find location. I close this one. Okay. So in our this manifest file, we have specified this, that what kind of services we require, what kind of permissions we require. So take an example, if this application has been installed somewhere in your device, then by default it will go for internet, by default it will go for this course location file. So actually it will ask for three permissions. You might have noticed the moment you open you install and open your application very first time, it will ask for some permissions. So when we install this application in our virtual device, okay, in our virtual device, you may observe that you will be getting this kind of permissions. Okay. Now, uh, now let us move. This is containment. Oh, okay. So we don't need this particular stuff right now. I'll go to this main activity. Okay. Now, within our this main activity, we will go and now we'll start writing some stuff. So this is our main class. Into this, I'm supposed to have few things. You may observe this is your main activity, which is extending this app compatibility activity. This is the same thing that we have seen in any other applications, but I'll go and I'll say extends. Google Google API client. Okay, it is not giving us any kind of suggestions. So private Google. Now if I go and say extends, okay, still it is not giving. Okay, this class has been imported. Okay, no issue. Let's move ahead. So now we are having this Google API client available with us. Next, I'll say one more private. This will be my fuse. Okay, do one thing. Just not an issue. First, let us check that whether this particular thing is working correctly or not. So what we will do is we will go and we will try to have something. Okay, we will go and say on post resume. We will try to prepare a function and we will see that whether this Google Play APIs that we are talking about, whether it is working correctly or what. So I'll prepare this on post resume function. I specify integer error code, something like that. We just want to verify that whether this thing is working correctly or what. So I say Google. Okay. Now you may observe the moment I start typing this Google API, now we are getting suggestions. So I say Google API availability dot get instance. Okay, now this is working correctly. Is Google Play Services Google Play Services available? And into this we specify this. So what will happen that in this on post resume, you specify one integer variable, integer error code, you specify Google API availability, you get an instance out of that, and then you are applying a method that is Google Play Services available, and the context will be past this main activity. So we will check this one, and now I'll go and I'll check if error code is not equals to connection result. Okay, this one, connection result dot success. Okay, so in this if condition, what we are doing, okay, so here first of all just observe this integer error code is something that you are having, so it will be storing something which will be written by this is Google Play services available method. So this method will be invoked with this context, and it will give you that whether you are having those Google Play services available or not. Later on you go and check your error code. Now here we say connection result success or not. Now into that I want to prepare a dialog that whether this services are available or not. So I say dialog error. Now why I have specified the name error, because it is like error code is not equals to connection result. So if I'm not having connection result as a success, so it is an error. The Google Play API is not available over here. So I say dialog error equals to Google API availability dot get instance of this dot get error dialog, and into this you are supposed to pass your activity. So I'll say this, and next parameter is your integer I, so definitely that is my error code. Next will be my error code also, and now last thing is that you are supposed to pass and click listener, sorry, not click listener, on cancel listener. So actually what we want to do is we want to generate an error code here. Now this error code is something that it will be either having success or it will be having the failure, that yes we are able to have Google Play APIs or we do not have it. So if error code is not equals to success, then I want to generate a dialog, and I will be giving a toast message over here that yes this particular stuff that you are asking about is not available. So I say new dialog on click listener. So here we are having that interface available, and into this on cancel, now I'll go and I will simply say our toast message toast dot mac text, and into this mac text first of all we have to pass our context. So context will be not this, it will be main activity dot this, and this is the uh,